There is a Caitlin Clark effect on all of basketball, and especially on women's basketball ratings. Kudos to her. She has elevated an entire sport in viewership.
Wisconsin's women's team averages around 4,500 people per home game. When Iowa came to town, the attendance was over 14,000. Rutgers usually draws around 2,600 fans. Against Iowa last week, it was a sellout crowd of 8,000. Purdue averages around 4,800 fans, but on Wednesday, there was a sellout crowd of 14,867 to watch the hometown Boilermakers get crushed by the Hawkeyes.
Caitlin Clark is coming. Some people think she's already arrived. I don't. I think she's going to be even better. I think that what she has done for women's basketball, especially in this country, has been phenomenal. There is no woman, no matter how great you were as a player, Cheryl Swoops, there is no woman who should negate mentioning Caitlin Clark and what Caitlin Clark is doing for the game.
Let's get into it. The market values skill and the underdog. The market values personality, not who's the most vocal, privileged. The internet, social media, keeps receipts, and when those receipts come in, they sometimes crush sponsorship opportunities, present and future, if you're so fortunate and privileged to have those. I'm sure you've come across stories of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Steph Curry when they went into God mode, when another player talked trash. Here's the thing about Caitlin. She has that mode too, but she also has a mode that is exponential in power. That mode is what every company, individual, and entity is craving. That mode is not one that you could demand because it is given by those who wield it. Who wields this mode, and who and what mode am I talking about? I'm glad you asked that question. The mode is fandom, and you, the fan, gets to wield it however you want. I've noticed that the more hate and abuse and misguided attempts to discredit Caitlin, the more fans come running in droves to her fandom. Fans have the right to choose who they will support, and the individual has the privilege of working their butts off to earn their fandom. Privilege is not a one-way street. It's a broad, wide, and expansive two-way, four-lane highway with exits to get on and exits to get off. The problem comes in when the toll, the payment, and the cost required is ignored. You see, in this economy, the creator's economy as it relates to sports, everything is built and driven by the personal brand. How an athlete behaves, what he or she says or does, will add to or subtract from their following, which is their account, and their fans, which is their currency. And let me tell you, Caitlin's account is overflowing and continues to grow exponentially. Now, let's get into the clip.
Us as black women, Paige reminds me a lot of you. Like, you say you're not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball, obviously. But, like, she understands her privilege. It's like what pushes her over the top, in a sense. It reminds me a lot of you. And I mean, that's a compliment.
This is one of the most viral clips going around on social media. Asia Wilson made comments about white privilege in a now resurfaced video where she praised her teammate Kelsey Plum and college star Paige Beckers as great allies for black women in sports. Wilson highlighted that both Plum and Beckers acknowledge their white privilege and use their platform to support racial equity. She pointed out that they understood how their privilege had helped them gain visibility and success, emphasizing that this awareness was a positive trait.
Caitlin Clark, I'm sure you saw, just became the all-time scoring leader in women's college basketball. I'm curious, where would you rank her amongst all-time college players, in your opinion?
Ooh, that's tough because you got to win one. I feel like that college is one of those spaces where you got to win one for them to even have your name in the conversation. And it took me 3 years to win mine.
Interesting. Wilson's remarks, according to her, were intended as a compliment, but they sparked criticism from some fans. Critics suggested that by mentioning white privilege, Wilson was diminishing achievements of Plum and Beckers. Wilson responded to the backlash by clarifying her intent and saying that she appreciated both athletes and respected their allyship.
Caitlin Clark. She is the first Division I player, and that is male or female, to record 3,000 points, 900 assists, and 800 rebounds.
Okay, so let's look at it from another perspective. So if you're looking at clip, Asia Wilson is sitting courtside with Kelsey Plum and another one of their players. I believe her last name is Young. And they're having this conversation. And you can see in front of them the logo of the Final Four. And she's talking about Paige Beckers as she's watching Paige Beckers of UConn play. At that time, they're playing Caitlin Clark of Iowa. So, and you kind of get the feeling or the vibe that Asia is aware that she's mic'd, right? So this is an opportunity for her to get like a two for one, 2 shots for one. She can send a message to Nike and say, hey, I know you have this new star coming, but my shoe needs to be first. Then the other shot, it's like going towards Caitlin as where she is, the sponsorship dollars, the fandom that she has, the following, all the praise that she's getting is a result of white privilege.
Caitlin Clark has done is grown the WNBA exponentially. She did in 5 weeks what would have taken 5 years. And as it pertains to draft viewership, she did in 5 days what would have taken 5 years.
Look at this little chart right here. The Fever will have over 600,000 fans in attendance total this year. And the second best to that was in 1999 with the Washington Mystics at just over 400,000. So the Fever are going to account for over 200,000 more fans this year to their games.
Paige Beckers! Us as black women, Paige reminds me a lot of you. Like, you say you're not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball, obviously. But, like, she understands her privilege. It's like what pushes her over the top, in a sense. It reminds me a lot of you. And I mean, that's a compliment.
But how can you say that when you're not there in the wee hours of the morning, in the late nights, the practices, the sacrifices that she's gone through to get to where she is, the struggles, the pain? How can you say that without knowing her story, without walking in her shoes, without understanding her struggles? What do you think? Was Asia Wilson's comments acknowledging their achievements, their hard work, their efforts, their skills, or was it something else? Chop it up in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. As always, until next time, keep balling.